Who did you find yourself most closely connecting with throughout this whole filming? Who was your buddy you still talk to this day?
Well, I mean, I still speak to quite a lot of the guys in the UK. I see Shane a lot, or as much as we can. I mean, he doesn't live that close to me anymore, but every so often we'll get in touch with each other and say, you know, I'm going to be in town. Let's meet for a drink, and we have a catch up every few months. And Rick Warden, I still see Rick a lot. And then we had a little gathering not that long ago. In fact, it was the end of last year. I've actually been trying to get together with the guys in the UK for quite a long time. I think me and Nick Aaron, Popeye Wynn, have been trying to get a group together. I think around the time that Scott was over filming Robin Hood, and we couldn't manage to get everybody together for some reason or another. And then finally, Shane managed to get hold of everybody and say, right, let's get something together. So I see Damien every so often. We worked at the National Theatre together. He was doing a play at the same time I was doing a play there, so we got to see each other a fair bit. And Nick Aaron, Popeye Wynn, I've seen a fair bit. And I mean, I'm always bumping into people. I mean, that happens a lot. And what's great about the whole Band of Brothers experience is, as soon as you bump into somebody that you haven't seen for a few years, you feel like you saw them last week, because you feel like you've shared so much during that whole experience. So that's what's so amazing. And then obviously when I've been in the States, I've been in touch with quite a lot of the guys when I've been here, and I went to a few of the barbecues early on. In fact, I was here about 9 years ago. I think, if I'm not mistaken, the show was due to air for the very first time on HBO, I think on the 9th, around the 9th of September, and I was actually in LA. I flew over. They had a premiere at the Hollywood Bowl, and I flew in for a couple of weeks. I stayed with Matthew Settle, who played Spears, and went to the premiere at the Hollywood Bowl, and wanted to be at Michael Cudlitz's house when they aired the first episode. And so a lot of the guys went over there and watched the show. And then I ended up getting stuck here, actually, because I was due to fly out of LAX on September the 11th. And obviously I wasn't going anywhere. I woke up in Matthew Settle's apartment with all the phones ringing, basically saying, there's been a major terrorist attack in New York, and you can't quite comprehend that. And obviously they shut LAX airport, and I was basically stuck here for a few weeks, not knowing when I was going to be able to get back home. But I got to spend a lot of time with the guys over that period of time, and I still see Ian Bailey played Webster. In fact, I bumped into him, strangely enough. I bumped into him a few times at an airport. I bumped into him. He was on his way coming back from Brazil, I think. And I also bumped into him in Edinburgh at the Edinburgh Festival, walking down the Royal Mile of all places. And then we hung out for a few days, and that was really great. And also Robin Lang, who played Babe Heffron. I bumped into him and spoke to him not that long ago, because I was up in Edinburgh a few weeks ago, and he lives up there now. So I spoke to him, and it was good to kind of catch up with him. And yeah, so there's a good few guys who I'm still in touch with, and I hung around with Ross McCall, who played Liebgott when I was in LA for a few months a few years ago, and I always kind of meet up with him. And Peter Youngblood Heels, who played Shifty Powers, I always try and meet up with him, and we try and kind of get together. And so yeah, every time I'm kind of either in LA or in the UK, I always try and kind of make sure that I can touch base with some of the guys, and I'm really going to try to make sure that we get a reunion going. Because I feel shamed that we haven't managed the Cudlitz barbecue every year, and I really feel like it's something that we should really try and do.
Well, now, from what I understand, he's really good at the barbecuing. Who would do the cooking on the European side?
On the European side, I would have thought Shane would definitely start the barbecue, because Shane's pretty good at basically bringing everyone together. And then I think there would probably be a tussle between maybe myself and maybe somebody, myself, Rick Warden, and Nick Aaron, Popeye Wynn would try and get on the barbecue to kind of cook some meat.
Really?
Yeah, well, I think whenever I have a barbecue, I'm always by the barbecue, basically trying to get the opportunity to cook a few sausages or burgers, and I'm very protective of the barbecue, and so I think if we had a barbecue, I would definitely offer up my services. And try my hand at and cooking some food for the guys. It's always a pleasure to cook for people. So I would definitely have a go.
That's good that you guard the fire, man. That's a very caveman thing to do.
I'm big on barbies, and my wife will tell you that we have barbecues. We have barbecues a lot back in the UK, back in London, in our apartment, and we love to barbecue. And I'm always there, guarding the fire or cooking or whatever. I think it's a really important thing, when you invite people round, if you have a barbecue, that you have to, protect your fire and make sure that you feed people. It's a very important instinct.
Oh, yeah, without a doubt.
Maybe we'll try and get a Band of Brothers UK barbecue going on, because, as I say, mainly we end up meeting in a restaurant and sitting down and and chatting. But I think it would be really good to meet at somebody's house and be able to have like an afternoon into evening thing, and have some beers and some food and shoot the breeze and stuff. So I think maybe what I'm going to try and do is try and get a barbecue going on. Unfortunately, we don't have the weather for it as much as you do over here, but I think a Band of Brothers barbecue in the UK is something that I'm going to initiate.
Very nice.
No, I think that's an excellent plan. Mm-hmm. I would love to see to see pictures and hear stories from that.
Well, as I say, you heard it here first. I'm going to initiate the first Band of Brothers barbecue, and I'm going to when we get back to the UK, I'm going to see whether we can get the guys together, and it's going to be we're going to try and meet as much as we can, and I'll get some pictures and I'll let you know how we're getting on.
Well, if you can swing it. Now this is just an idea. We're spitballing here. It's at the beginning stages of planning. It would be fantastic since we have such a great time difference. If you would just dial us up on Skype and quite possibly have a roundabout of everybody that shows up.
Okay, you're on. I'm very happy to, as I say, when we get back to the UK, I'm going to try and get the guys together, and then we'll when we've got a date, I'll let you know, and then we'll call you up and we'll say hey from the Band of Brothers UK barbecue, and we'll get some of the guys to say hey, and yeah, we'll definitely do that.
Fantastic! A virtual barbecue on Black Sky Radio with the Band of Brothers cast. How awesome is that?
Drunk dial.
Right.
Yeah,
I love it.
Let's do it.